Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos about quilting and my creative life. Anywhere that you can find me is listed down in the description box in terms of online, so Instagram and TikTok, and you can stay up to date daily with what I'm making. And you'll know from my posts on there, and I've also made several videos on the subject, but I am hooked on the Alice Caroline's Alice's Wonderland sampler quilt. Here is the book. It's an absolutely beautiful book. There's 100 blocks in here to gradually improve your sewing confidence and skills, which I can say for me is working amazing. I think I'm on block 27, so this is one that I completed last night, and I've got one just on my ironing board that just needs assembling. I've laid it all out, but I was doing this an hour. I thought I've got a free hour before the sewing bee starts last night, so I was sewing a few blocks, but I didn't manage to get the second one completed. Generally they take about 40 minutes, half an hour to, no, not half an hour, definitely more on the side of 40 minutes to complete. Now that you generally get in the gist, each one is like a variation on the previous one, gradually getting a little bit more tricky or intricate. So yeah, you get into the gist of what's needed, and I'm just looking at the back of this thinking that needs ironing better, that needs ironing better, so I didn't press this one very well. I'll have to put that back on the ironing board. In one of my recent videos, someone commented and asked if I'd seen the pattern amendments, which I hadn't. So thank you so much for the wonderful viewer who said that. And then a few people comment and asked me to do just a video talking through the amendments. So Alice Caroline has released a little pamphlet talking about through all the amendments. I think this is for volume 1, but it says that it was updated on the 10th of June, this was, so only a couple of days ago. And you download this PDF document on the Alice Caroline website. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get the pattern amendments. And all that I would recommend is just printing them out and keeping them in your book with the relevant pages. So I'll just give you a quick look. So it shows you the full page, and then like here it has these red boxes where it will tell you what's amended, and I'll briefly talk through those with you. At the end of the video there's going to be a little bit of a recording of how to print the document, because you have to print them with these red boxes on. So here there's this red box, and these are called comments. So what they've done is they've just edited it and added these comments highlighting where the changes are. But if you don't print the document a certain way, it won't print with these comments on, and this is what you need really. So if you watch to the end of the video, there's a little tutorial on how to do that, and it's best to do it from a laptop or a computer rather than a phone or a tablet, because then you get all the options on how to print things, and that's what I've got the tutorial on. So that'll be at the end. But all of the amendments, it's nothing to do with the pattern writing of Alice, nothing like that. The pattern is absolutely brilliant. It was just small external errors that have caused these issues, and it was unfortunately completely outside of their control. So they just want to reassure you of the quality of the pattern, which again, I can reassure you, it's absolutely wonderful. One of these blocks, I think I've made 2 of them. I didn't notice the mistake on the first one. I don't know if the mistake is in my block, but the second one I thought, oh hold on, I've made one too short. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these pages in half and just put them in the book. Some are coming up, so yeah, it's all labelled, and I think it's, yeah, it says what page it's actually on as well as the block number. So the first one is block 16, and the only error is that you will have made one too many half square triangles, so that's no hardship really. And then block 17 is that the measurement for the fabric was wrong, and then I think you will have also made one too many half squares. Block 49, it should just be that you need to trim the blocks down to a certain size. That's not on there correctly. And then block 50, again, same issue, that you need to trim all blocks evenly down to a certain size. And don't forget, like I said, it's all written there in red, so you can't miss it. Just slot this into your book. Block 71, oh, I don't think it tells you to sew it onto a square, just that you need to sew it onto a square, which that's fine. This one is that a line of text is on there when it doesn't need to be. So they are very, very small. They're not major issues. Again, block 73, the text is not needed. Again, block 74, you need to applicate the butterfly onto a square of fabric. I'm just adding these into the book, and I know I said that there was an amendment on these. I assumed this pink arrow meant that there was an amendment, but it's in the original book. So those ones where I said you needed to applicate onto a square, I don't think there's any amendments to that in the pattern. I think it's just because it's printed on a double page spread, which it is printed on a double page spread in the book. So it's just these ones. But it's all quite self-explanatory. It's all highlighted in red, and you can just pop it with a book and follow the amended one. So I'm just going to slot those in there, and that's where it will stay. And then there's just some amendments to the border. I don't want to read the amendments to the border, although it looks like it's just a mistake with how the text is reading, just because there's so many borders on this quilt. Is there a picture on the front? There is 2 borders on this quilt, and I thought I don't even want to think about the borders just yet, although they are really fun and a great way to use up any of those small scraps, but I don't want to overwhelm myself just at the moment. So yeah, there we go. They're just very simple amendments, and I think because my book was very kindly gifted to me, I never received the original email like about confirmation of purchase, or they didn't have my email address for the purchase because they just sent it to me in the post. However, the original lady who commented said that they emailed them to let them know about the pattern amendments. So I assume if you bought directly from Alice Caroline, you should have had the pattern amendments. But I think the book is also available through Amazon, so I don't think you would if you bought through Amazon. So just check out the link that I'll leave in the description box, but don't let it put you off the book or anything like that. The amendments are very straightforward. Just make sure you print it with those red notes, or if you have issues printing or you don't have a printer, just view the document and maybe stick a post-it note in your book or highlight or just write in your book is absolutely fine, because even if you give the book away or sell it on to someone else once you've done, that person will need the pattern amendments as well. So just go ahead and mark them, but I'm just going to cut them up and slot them into the book. So I am having great fun with this book. The only thing that I have found is I generally purchase the £1 scraps from Alice Caroline when she's at the shows, or she does little pop-up shops. She has the £1 scraps, and I think they're almost 6 inches wide they are, and sometimes there's been a few instances where you need a wider piece or even a slightly longer piece than what I've got. So I've gone and treated myself to some larger cuts. I think I bought a rainbow pack. I think it might have 20 in it, so that should be quite good, and it will just mean that I can follow the instructions and not have to do the maths. Davina at Little Workroom Crafts is using the smaller ones, the sample packs, and they're much smaller, and I just don't want to do the maths to have to work it out. I just want to follow the instructions on the strip piecing in the book and then cut it all down, because I really get into that. It's the first time that I've done that, you know, cutting a longer strip and then sub-cutting it up. And it's so quick and it is so much easier. So I just love following the instructions. They are very straightforward once you get into the rhythm of reading patterns. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I get so scared reading things like knitting and crochet patterns. And this was the first pattern that I ever followed for quilting. Generally, I do online tutorials. I just watch the videos because I've been so scared in the past by knitting and crochet patterns. But no, it's really built up my confidence with reading patterns, and now I'm looking at machine quilting patterns thinking, yeah, I can do that. Whereas before I was too shy to try the pattern. Oh dear, this is going to end up with more than this one quilt. This will be the gateway into other quilts, I'm sure. So if you're taking part and making along with this book, let me know how many blocks you've made. Have you missed any blocks out? So when I first started, you might have known that I had a bit of troubles with getting my blocks the right size. So block number 4, quite early on, was a checkerboard, and I did not like that. I really struggled to get my points matching, and just to do, I'd never even made a 9 patch on the machine, and then from the 9 patch I went to the checkerboard. And then later on in the book, not too far, Then block 10, so I've probably done another 6 blocks. There was a variation and I thought, no, I've got to get the colour placement perfect for that, to get it diagonal like that. So I missed that one out. I thought, I'm not doing that. But now I've done 27 blocks. I'm like, I can do that. So I think I am going to go back and do that one because I've got the confidence now. I didn't have the confidence the first time I did it. Oh God, the things that we tell ourselves that we can't do something when we can, it's just all about our mind knowing that we can do it. So now I'm just going to play the little recording of how to do the printing. So when you've downloaded the document to print, come on over and press your print as normal, and then you'll come up with this dialogue. Let me just select the right printer for me. And here you need to look at this panel. Does this panel have the red markings? Because if it does, it will print with them fine. But what you need to do, if it hasn't, it might look like this. So it'll just be no red documents. So you need to come down to this bottom corner where it says comments and forms. Press that and you want to select the one that says documents and markups, and as soon as we press that, the red will come through and you can click through and check that you can see the red on all the pages. So that's just shown here in this little preview box. And just to show you close up, is this box here, comments and forms. It will probably automatically be checked on documents, so just move it down to documents and markups. And then just press print as normal and it will print out. And that's why I say it's much easier to do it on a computer, because then it brings up this dialog box, whereas if you print on your phone, you don't get all of these options. So I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help me out and support the page. And thank you, and until next time, bye!